pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Randy, can you take roll?
John Hayes,
Here.
Lauren Choate,
Here.
Maura Collier,
Here.
Brock Sears.
Here.
I don't see that I have anybody signed up for public comment. Is there anybody that came in and didn't see this that would like to? Okay, moving on then. Randy, do you have the minutes for the last?
I couldn't find them in the last one, so I didn't type them up and
Okay.
send them to you guys.
We do not have the minutes for our last meeting, so we will have to look at them and approve them for next month, if that's okay. Don't know if I need to have a motion for that. Since we don't have them, I guess I probably don't need a motion for that. Okay. Right. We will look at them at our next meeting. Old business, so I attended the town council meeting in May and submitted to them our 5-year plan that was approved through DNR. And they gave us permission to apply for DNR trail grants, and they guaranteed that the town would help with the portion that we would need to do on a 2080 match. So we will be moving forward with that. We worked hard on that 5-year plan. We have all been talking about helping with the Monroe Festival, and that instead of doing a booth this year, we're going to work the kids zone, which is the bounce house, and I think we're also going to be putting up some games like giant Jenga and Connect Four and all that. I sent a text to Bill Chappell to find out about a schedule for us to sign up for, and he didn't have that for us, but I will be sending that out to you guys to sign up for, to work that kid zone here soon, because the festival is coming up pretty quickly.
Do you know what the date of the festival is?
It is the weekend after Labor Day.
So 8th, 9th, 10th.
8th, 9th, and
Yes,
10th?
it'll be that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at August. Yeah, don't listen to me. Yeah, 5th, 6th, 7th.
What is it? The 5th, 6th, and 7th?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 6 and 7.
So we had a couple of meetings ago, we had one of the park neighbors come to us complaining about people cutting their yard. He also went to the town council. We spoke with the town council about it, and there was some concern about him wanting to put a fence up, us to put a fence around the park. We have said all along we weren't going to do that. I spoke with Mary Ann, or actually he came in and spoke with Mary Ann. The town has bought signs to put up, asking people, telling people where to go and not cut through yard. And he was happy with that, wanted to see how that worked, and did not really want a fence put up. So I think that that's been taken care of.
I do have the signs. I finally got the post at the end of last week. I just have to, yes, I want to put them up.
Okay. But he wasn't really wanting the fence. So that was not the issue anyway. So I think that that's been, as of now, has been
He has not been back.
kind of taken care of. Okay. All right. Does anybody else have any old business that you can think of that we've missed here? Okay, we have someone from the National Fitness Campaign presenting a proposal for an outdoor fitness center.
So we have,
Can you come up here? Did this one get turned on?
it's on.
Sorry, we're streaming this, so you're gonna be on,
Oh,
you're gonna be
Okay.
on
You're gonna be
TV.
famous.
so I don't want to be famous. I don't know. Let's see. Brian, are you there?
Yes.
Okay,
Can
cool.
you hear me?
Yeah. Can you guys hear him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is Brian from the National Fitness Campaign. I'm Nikki. I am a resident. I grew up here. And over the winter, I had put together a proposal for an outdoor fitness court to be placed out in Hall. There was a grant through the Morgan County Health Department, and Tricia is the what is she? Director of the Health Department, Morgan County Health Department. So put together the proposal for this court, and we won some funding, grant funding from the Health Department, and then also some funding from the National Fitness Campaign. It's an outdoor fitness court that he'll tell you a little bit more about. And yeah, I don't know what else you want me to say because Brian's going to tell you a little bit more.
It's a great background and instrumental in bringing this together. So thank you for all the work over the past few months and the work tonight getting this set up and the technical support. So thank you for that. I just for the group, I guess give a brief overview of the national campaign. I know Mary in the room but very much the point of this meeting or this presentation is to fill the entire park board in. So I appreciate the special meeting tonight to hear and to learn about this. Before I dive in, and usually I ask for a show of hands, but I can't see anybody right now, but maybe just yays and nays. Did you all get a chance to see the video that was shared around some good background on the campaign, what this initiative is?
I did
Yay,
see it.
yes.
I watched it.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you all. Yeah, I think even more than anything I could say could, oh, perfect, good. I got faces. Good to see you all. What I'd like to do if I can, and I don't know how big my screen is, if I were to share my screen, can you see some of these slides, or is it be tiny here?
Yeah, I can see them.
Okay. I'll share this as well, these materials, but what I want to do is try to both give you all a sense, an overview of what the National Fitness Campaign is, and then to Nikki's description, some of the work that's been put together over the past few months, bringing support, funding for this program and what's before us for discussion today. So I guess just stepping back, giving I think the best description of what this agency is, what National Fitness Campaign is, it's best to describe it as very much an interdisciplinary wellness funding consulting firm. So working across all those disciplines in order to build healthy communities, to deliver the services, the infrastructure, the consulting support in order to launch these infrastructure programs. And for background, as you saw in the video, that work's been going on since the late 70s, really, starting with the very rudimentary, very basic wood, sand, steel workout stations. National Fitness Campaign built over 10,000 of those across 4,000 communities with, at that time, private funding from Wells Fargo Bank, not only for many communities, really introducing the idea of free outdoor fitness infrastructure, but in the running, establishing the nation's largest public-private wellness partnership. And that's the work that continues today. Since relaunching about a decade ago, we've reached 750 communities nationwide, close to 16 in Indiana, launching programs, launching these fitness initiatives, and funding is available. We're on track to reach 1,000 by next year. So a lot of growth, a lot of momentum, but the same core mission, alignment with the health department's mission as well, is knowing that provide these, not just the infrastructure, but the services, the pieces to launch these programs at the local level, we can create lasting health benefits by making world-class fitness free, accessible, easy to use, inviting, fun, aesthetically pleasing. All these factors can really make an impact at the community level. So very ambitious mission to make world-class fitness free, but one that fortunately we have a lot of support. These couple dozen state, national healthcare agencies making the work of the campaign possible. So I wanted to give you that background and describe some of the work that's gone on. As Nikki described, there was an initiative underway to launch this program with Hall Civic Association earlier this year. So the campaign's been working in Morgan County in this broader area for several months now, trying to identify how can we make that impact? Where's the best location? How can a free outdoor gym do good within the community? So very much part and parcel of the work that the campaign does, kind of answering all these questions, bringing these programs to life. So in that way, in that sense, I think it's best to think of the campaign and the work that's done kind of in equal parts, services and infrastructure. So not just the outdoor gyms, these fitness courts, but all those tools around the planning, the funding development, even the launch, the ongoing activation, the support and building and launching these programs across the state. So we'll talk about both tonight, try to give you a sense of how we come together. I want to quickly touch on the infrastructure piece. So what you're seeing is the very much the part of the campaign, the engine of the campaign. This is the largest rendering, the fitness court studio. So the way this works is this is a dual-sided gym. Essentially, on the far side is that strength bodyweight training center. On the near side is an outdoor classroom space that in practice doubles as a yoga studio, a dance stage, a Zumba classroom, all these different social uses in that dynamic to this community wellness hub. That's the near side. Jumping to the far side, you're seeing the fitness court. Here's a standalone. So this is a 7-station bodyweight training center, and bodyweight is crucial in how this works across the community because bodyweight movement can be scaled to all parts of the population. So this is something that can be used by young individuals, high school, college-age athletes. In fact, IU Bloomington campus has a fitness court on campus, funded in part by grant funding. But that usage scales not just to the young, it scales to aging individuals or folks with limited mobility can scale these movements. So that bodyweight movement is infinitely scalable. In fact, all the movement patterns, all these activities are ADA compliant. So we'll see wheelchair-bound athletes or para-athletes using this space as well. So that's how this works as a gym across all parts of the community. One other piece tying in that accessibility, a crucial function, is education. So teaching people how to use the space, how to use this equipment. And powering that is the Fitness Court app. So this is free to download. There's a QR code on the gym that can take users right to it, allow them to check in, get that guidance, and essentially lower the threshold to access. So the idea is somebody who's never been on a fitness court before, somebody who's never been inside of a gym before can immediately access videos, coaching, programming, challenges, in fact, all these different tools to really encourage engagement, again, lower that barrier to access. So in brief, that's how these spaces work as it's gyms. I also want to talk about how there's an opportunity for public art. So each of these renderings has on it a full-length wall that can be used as a mural, a canvas essentially. So working either with the NFC's art studio team to create an image for the community, something representing ideas or values within the community, or maybe the best way to tell that story is with the local artist program. So essentially a separate grant program, one that engages with the local artist, funds their work, distributes grant funding to that artist directly, and then gives them acknowledgement, recognition across this mural wall. And then the last piece to touch on with the infrastructure side of the campaign that's new this year is a shade structure. So the backstory here is of those many hundreds of fitness courts we've worked with, a lot of communities, especially Texas, Florida, down south, shade is essentially a requirement in public parks. So we've engineered a design that can save those communities that want to do shade structure, save them a good bit of time, money, headache on the design. There's a kind of an off-the-shelf design ready to go. So let me pause there. I always like to hold up there just before we shift gears and talk about the grant program. I want to see if I can answer any questions on the infrastructure side of the campaign.
I have one question. How much space does it take up? Is it customizable?
No, good question. Yeah, so there's essentially two renderings. Here, the standalone fitness court, it's pretty compact. It's 38 by 38, which, truth be told, I'm lousy at dimensions. This is a pickleball court, is what I picture. So that's about the size of a pickleball court. And then the larger fitness court studio is twice that. It's 76 feet long, 38 feet wide. So that's a tennis court inside the lines, essentially.
Thank you.
It's not really an infrastructure question, but you said 16 communities in Indiana have what is there any that's close to here?
Yeah, I think we looked at the map actually with Lori last call. The one in IU, Bloomington, will probably be the closest. Martinsville will launch theirs later this year. That park is still under construction. Fishers on the other side of Indy cut the ribbon on theirs just actually this summer. So they just opened theirs last month. And then there's one, I'm blanking. There's one more in the Indy area. Actually, if you go to the app, if you go to the fitness court app, it maps every location of every fitness court. So you can see all of them across the state.
Did you say Martinsville will be opening one later this year?
I believe that's the schedule. I know it's part of a larger park development. I believe there's some FEMA approvals, some federal red tape, but they're on track to launch later this summer.
I think it's where they got the new.
Yeah. Over by the Indies restaurant on it? Okay.
Okay.
What about like maintenance and upkeep on the court?
Yeah, that's an important part of how this works as well. So as you just kind of take a look at it, it's worth noting what this isn't. And this isn't, playground equipment that's been repurposed or even indoor fitness equipment that's been brought outside. Everything on the fitness court is designed really purposefully for permanent outdoor usage. So as you look at this, you'll see not a lot of moving parts, not a lot of complicated pieces for upkeep or repair. It's designed for literally millions of uses across decades. So each of the components on this carries with it, all these pieces are made for this program, for this project here in the US. So all of them will carry manufacturer's warranties. And then beyond that, National Fitness Campaign will work with communities on maintenance and upkeep. So there's a schedule of maintenance for communities. It's pretty straightforward. It's just checking connections, checking bolts. The biggest piece is an annual power washing that's recommended, usually in the spring, to kind of get these ready for spring and summer usage. But pretty low maintenance threshold by design.
Can you put a price on that? Like an average price it would cost you to maintain it?
Yeah, for maintenance, that power washing, usually it's done in-house, but I think most communities will tell us that could be about $1,000 bid out. But usually power washing is something that communities can do through a public works department.
We don't have a public works department.
Yeah, we don't. I think that's one of my biggest concerns is we have to maintain this.
Because I'm looking at
Sure.
the ground and it's blue, so does that mean it's paint? And eventually would need to be painted?
Yeah, let me describe that kind of from the ground up. So this ring underneath all of it is actually a concrete base underneath the fitness court. There's essentially a 4-inch concrete slab. And then on top of this blue flooring is essentially gym flooring. It's a version of that composite rubber flooring that you find inside of a gym. This is a version of that made specifically for the fitness court by Surface Co. USA. So it's a version of gym flooring made specifically for outdoor usage. It's I think closest it feels like a track if you've been on one of those composite tracks. That's how it feels. So it's not soft like a playground. It's a firmer piece than that. And then it is exactly right. It is in that tile configuration, which is designed to make upkeep easier. If any piece is, for whatever reason, damaged or needs to be replaced, very easy to replace a 2x2 tile.
Have you seen much vandalism on the stuff?
Fortunately, not something we've seen, even on the mural wall itself. But just speaking to that, this piece and all the other pieces are designed to be power washed off when that happens in the rare event. So what you're seeing here is a commercial laminate. That's what wraps around this entire thing. So if there are any other local artists in the community, maybe some nefarious local artists, that can be washed off right away. But that said, we haven't seen too many instances of that. I don't know if this was a big white canvas, maybe that would be different, but having some artwork on there, for whatever reason, tends to dissuade graffiti, we found.
Where's it at in Bloomington? At IU, you said there's one?
Yes, it opened just this summer. It's across from their new football practice field. Actually, if I can, I bet I can pull up, just to give you an idea of what the art can look like. Bear with me. Let me see if I can find. Yeah, I've got one right here. Share with you all. So this was photos right after construction completed, I believe earlier this spring. So they hadn't, you see the fence, they hadn't opened the site yet, but you're able to see they went with school colors in their fitness court.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the app, if we're gonna get the app? What would be the app? What would you search for?
Yeah, I'd encourage you to download. It's a free app. If you just search Fitness Court, you'll see that logo. You can get it through the Google or Apple Store. It's not required to use. I think that's important to note. It's a tool for usage, but most people who use the Fitness Court don't check in, at least, or don't seem to use the app. But about 1 in 5 will use the app. Our tracking is indicated.
So it's Fitness Court, and it has a little white guy with a blue emblem.
Exactly. Yeah, this blue and white logo right there at the top.
Okay, thank you.
No, great questions. I appreciate them. Any others from the group?
Brian, we have a question about, is there anything that needs to be done during the winter?
Yeah, very good question. And it kind of depends on the community. We've seen 2 approaches to this. Some communities will let these go dormant and maybe like a tennis court or something like that, let it collect snow and go out of usage. There are some communities though in Michigan, in upstate New York, that will maintain these. So they could be, you'll want to use, in that case, non-powered equipment. So you wouldn't want to snow plow this, for instance, but some communities will work to keep these open even in the winter time. But that's by no means a requirement. That's kind of a community by community decision, how they want to maintain their open spaces during winter months. We do see that when they are open in the winter, even in coastal housing, I'm not just up here in Chicago, even farther north than us, when they're open in the winter, they get usage. People will use these spaces.
Wondering if the 4-inch concrete pad would hold up. When the 4-inch concrete sidewalk, the nice pictures in the 4-inch, I wondered about the temperature of the 4-inch things.
Can you hear that question, Brian?
I'm sorry, I did not.
She's wondering about the concrete pad being 4 inches. Will that hold up in the wintertime?
On the
It does.
freezing?
Yeah, it's something that wants to be, you want to pour it in warm months. So just during the installation process, it is a warm weather installation. So typically in the Midwest, between May and October, usually, because it requires about 2 weeks of temperatures above a certain threshold in order to set. So
No,
once the concrete is set and it stays put, there's no issues we found with cracking or winter that these can hold up even in cold temps.
so the freezing and thawing that we get here doesn't affect it.
No,
Like-
yeah, and even farther north, there've not been issues with the concrete installation.
And I guess you're gonna tell us about a warranty? Or is that planned to tell her?
Yeah, I guess and I want you to, if you go to right on the homepage, it describes all the different lengths of some of these different pieces. Each of these different pieces will have a warranty ranging from a few years in some cases, all the way up to, I guess the ones to know would be this frame, especially the spine of the fitness court has a 25-year manufacturer warranty, and I think that's the best way to think of the lifespan of a fitness court. Any individual component could be replaced over time, and that's very much the design and intention. If a ring needs to be replaced or some piece, pretty simple to swap that out to do so and keep these running over time. So that's how we get to the idea of millions of uses over about 25 years. This site that you're seeing is actually a good example. This fitness court, this picture, this is essentially Fitness Court 1. You might think of this is on Golden Gate Trail in San Francisco. This was very much the incubator for the first fitness court launch. This site is about 13 years old now, on one of the most heavily traveled, heavily used greenways in the country. And it's still up and running every day. It gets heavy usage and still runs well.
So if I understand you, it's kind of like your car. Each component could have a different warranty, kind of like your tires have a different warranty based compared to your battery. Your lights have different warranties. Each one of those components could have different warranties. So like the exercise equipment component that's out there has a different warranty than your concrete pad has.
Yes, exactly. Let me point to exactly where you can find this. I'm just switching screens. This is the National Fitness Campaign homepage. I'm just going to scroll down, and all the way at the bottom, you'll see 2 pieces. The first is warranty. So you'll see all those descriptions, all those different pieces, a description of each of those and the warranty that goes into those. And then crucially, you'll also see replacement parts. So this is the method how National Fitness Campaign stays involved with partners, with communities. Some pretty easy steps to replace any piece that's damaged, that's worn. We're right there to help keep these running.
And what's the website? Sorry.
Oh yeah, it's nationalfitnesscampaign.com.
Nationalfitnesscampaign.com.
I think if you saw that video, that link to the video, that same website.
Yeah.
Do they have any type of average maintenance cost? I know we said the cost earlier as far as it was like $1,000. I mean, that would be just cleaning it and whatnot. But as far as maintenance or upkeep on the actual equipment, I mean, is just to keep it up and running?
Yeah, what I'd like to do is I can share with all of you the maintenance schedule, actually that description of upkeep, and you'll see that a lot of the checking connections, checking bolts, the prescription of steps to take to repair if needed in-house repair is pretty straightforward. So for instance, there's a description of what to do if any tile needs to be replaced, if upkeep requires that. All the replacement parts can be, the adhesive replacement, for instance, can be got from a local hardware store. So in that way, it's designed to be pretty straightforward for upkeep. But let me share with you that maintenance schedule. You'll, I think, be able to see exactly what goes into that. That it's again, is designed to be as streamlined as possible, not to be an extra burden for the community.
That maintenance schedule, can it be found on the website too?
It's not, it's just something that's shared with partners, part of the support.
okay.
So this is something that goes out to communities that have launched, but I'd be happy to share it with you all. But it's not something on the website.
Yeah, if you could email it to us, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like the workout calendar, that's not what it was called, the workout. You would go to figure out what you want, what you're supposed to do at each station, or is that what you do on the app?
So exactly. So yeah, I'll jump back to an image. It is based around 7 bodyweight movements. So core, squat, push, lunge, pull, agility, bend. So that app will guide you through those workouts, giving you guidance as you look through that. You'll also be able to see, you can kind of self-select. So if you want a intermediate or an advanced workout, it'll kind of give you those movements based on that level. One of the most popular coaches on there, if you scroll through, you'll see it's our Silver Sneakers program, Coach Bobby. She does a specifically over 55 coaching program. So teaching seniors how to move, how to activate on this space. And then if you can see, I don't know if this is large enough, you'll see those same guidelines on the wall of the fitness court, and actually it's on the blue tile. You can't see it in this image, but there's clear direction on the tile with each station, what each movement pattern is. So a good pause there about essentially how this program comes together. Some of the work that we've put the past few months, I guess starting from a perspective of describing the funding support from National Fitness Campaign. So as Nikki mentioned at the top, we've identified 2 funding streams to help launch this program, 2 grants essentially that have been applied for, and were initially awarded to Hall Civic Association. That project could not proceed. So what we're doing is essentially building off of some of that success. So there's a lot of support both from National Fitness Campaign, from Morgan County Health Department for this initiative, bringing this to the community. So what I want to do is essentially describe the qualification for the National Fitness Campaign grant. So some of that grant funding that can go toward this. And then here in a minute, we might tap in the health department. We might tap in Tricia to describe that funding, that additional funding going to this program. So funding is available from National Fitness Campaign to help launch these programs. Those state, national, regional sponsors that I described earlier, putting funding to help launch these initiatives. Funding is available across the country, 200 grants available in a given year, distributed on a state-by-state basis. So in a given year, typically between 3 and 5 per state. In Indiana, we actually funded 8 sites last year, so pulled funding from a couple other different states. It's been a pretty competitive grant program of late. And it's essentially when communities can demonstrate each of these qualification criteria, that there's an invitation to apply for grant funding from National Fitness Campaign, and then ongoing support in launching the program. So what I'd like to do is just kind of run through these quickly, give a sense of some of the support that's gone into this, how that award was initially funded, and then discuss with the board some of the potential next steps. So the first step, the reason we're all here tonight is confirming leadership support for this program. This is a crucial part in qualifying for grant funding, not just to say, hey, we've got the right people to decide things like this, but we have the community support. This will be an ongoing program for the community. That's how we see the greatest success for these outdoor gyms, for these program launches. So giving you all a chance, you find folks a chance to get your questions asked and answered, to get feedback on this program, get a sense of how it can work for the town of Monrovia. That's the first step in the process, really confirming that alignment of priorities. The second step is a pretty crucial step as well, is identifying the best potential site, the strongest site for launching a program. Here, the way to think of this is success of the program, of those 750 sites that have launched. The most successful ones really check off 3 key criteria: sites that are active, visible, and connected. Sites that people can find on their own, that are in active spaces, in active parks within the community. There's been a little bit of discussion on this already. I know we were looking at the town park right across from the high school as a potential location, but really here open to discussion, open to looking at potential sites within the community and scoring them on that basis. Hey, what are the most active, visible, and connected sites? Typically, this is done through a collaborative workshop call. We'll work with the community on putting some pins in the map on identifying what would qualify for funding from National Fitness Campaign for the program, which is, of course, a key part, funding these programs in order to launch. So here, let me just describe kind of all the numbers as they come together and some of the funding that has already been identified essentially for this. So a single fitness court, the total funding required, it's usually best to describe it as a range of funding, just there's some key variables in the program, but typically between $150,000 and $250,000 to build and launch a fitness court, every dollar in. Going toward that, there is grant funding from National Fitness Campaign, so $30,000 available, essentially acting as seed funding for the program. An additional stream of funding has been identified, so we applied for and were awarded with Hall Civic Association for $150,000 from the Morgan County Health Department. So both those allocations of funding no longer active for the Hall Civic Association, but still available. So we can still apply for both sources and apply for $180,000 going to this project, with those two, depending on the total funding required, 80% of the funding in order to launch the program. And then ongoing support in identifying, developing the funding needed to launch in total the program. So part of what the campaign does as a funding consultant agency. All of these coming together with the grant application itself for the National Fitness Campaign. So the way this works is when we can identify each of these pieces, describe a picture of leadership support, identify potential sites within the community, qualifying sites for a program launch, describing a funding pathway. There's an invitation to apply. Now, again, we have already had a community application. It was successfully received by the NFC Grants Committee and approved. So we are building off of success here. This isn't something that we need to start from scratch, essentially. There's a lot of support from the National Fitness Campaign Grants Committee, from the Morgan County Health Department in bringing this program to the community. So I guess let me stop there, kind of before we go any further, giving you all a sense of how the National Fitness Campaign funding that program gets off the ground. Are there any questions on that side of the campaign that we can answer before we describe a little bit more from the health department?
Hey, Brian, do you still have that that heat map of the activity around Monrovia?
Let me. Sorry, I'm off flag, but let me see if I can. Let me dig through a file and see if I can pull that up. Bear with me a second. While I'm doing that, are there?
Well, I do have one question, unless you got one. Why didn't Hall qualify for it? What put theirs to a stop?
So a few issues. I think there was a shift in leadership support. Candidly, I think there were some concerns in how they would. I think they didn't want to be a public park, essentially, which makes sense. It would be a new venture for them, serving as an out. I think they had some concerns on insurance liability, for instance, which I'll tell you, for most parks, for most public spaces, is not an issue. This qualifies in insurance liability coverage the same way a playground or a tennis court would. But Hall Civic Association had neither of those things. So there was some concern on whether their building liability would accept something like this. We believed it would. We thought there would be a path forward, but I think there was some concerns about opening a public space outside.
There's also a historical site, and I think that there was some concern about the historic preservation.
Yeah, because we already have a park, they didn't have one, right?
Yeah.
Would that, do you know, do you even know, would it be covered under the insurance that we already have for our cars?
You would have to add that,
That'd be something we'd have to ask about.
Post office.
you would have to add it.
Oh,
I
and
would
it
say it
would be
almost
an
always is, it qualifies as, I never get the right combination of nouns, but adult self-directed recreation equipment, I think is the insurance liability coverage category. So it's something clearly defined and usually is something that falls under existing coverage. But absolutely something worth to explore, to confirm, and we can answer or provide any details that could help with that.
Did you say there was already a site in Monrovia that was selected for it? If so,
So we had just in that last conversation with Lori, with Marianne, I believe we had discussed. I think it was just an initial discussion on how launching this at the town park would be impactful. So there's active use at the park. It's near the high school. That seemed to be a visible location. So it seemed to check all the boxes according to our discussion a couple weeks ago.
Near the high school, everything's near the high school.
I was gonna say. Yeah, because we really only have one park, so.
Well, it could also be here across the street, which is very close to the school.
Uh-huh.
And there would always be a camera pointed at it.
It actually makes more sense for it to be at the park though.
Is there enough room?
So I found, and I apologize, sorry for the delay. Here's the that Nikki was referring to. So this is going back to that site selection and how National Fitness Campaign works as a planning development agency. Is there support looking at some of the data around pedestrian activity? So how do people move within the community? How do they walk, run, and bike to and within parks? And so one of the things that's used is, I'm sharing a heat map, is fitness data. And so this is, what you're seeing is a rendering of that data. So anytime somebody logs their steps on their Fitbit, anytime somebody walks or runs on their Garmin, that information is available in the aggregate as a big picture. So this is we're zooming in. This is very much raw data, just part of the. Again, this is one page of that site study. But we did look at this, and we looked at how much active usage there is around the high school, and this isolates vehicular traffic. This isn't car traffic. This is only pedestrian traffic, and so we're seeing people walking and running to and around the high school and into that park. So that's why we said, hey, this appears at first glance, at first brush, as a potential site, that this site in the park would look to qualify.
Is there any parking requirements that's like associated with it, with like, to be able to get a grant, you have to have so many parking spots within walking distance, or?
Good question. No, not a requirement, and that San Francisco site's a good example. There's no good parking anywhere near there, but it still gets pretty high usage. I'll tell you a fact that's often more important is just where people are already moving on foot. This could be near a gigantic parking lot, but if people aren't getting out of their cars and actively moving, then then we don't see that same high level of usage. So short answer is no, there's not a parking requirement, and often it doesn't indicate strength of site.
So if it didn't go at the town park, where else could it go?
There he is it across the street here in the green space across the street here.
But if you ever put in your walking trail over in the county park, then there'll probably be a lot more activity over there.
And I was thinking if you put it across the street here when school's in, if older people who aren't in schools wanting to come over here, that could make traffic more difficult for them to use that. And I think just
Yeah.
Anything
I like the
like this
park
needs to be,
location better.
anything like this, I think, needs to be at the park.
Yeah,
We have plenty of room at the park for it.
I'm undecided, because I see that the school kids do come and they run in the mornings and like, I can see them using it. But they also have, do you guys still have that, out on the cross-country track route?
I don't know if they still have it out there or not. I know they did at one time, but yeah, it's probably there. I don't know if it's.
So you and I haven't done that recently, but somebody else might.
Well, what do you mean by that?
No stones. But I'm just saying, something like that at the school, I don't know how much people realize it's back there. But I do think that if the kids, now that they can connect through that little passageway to past the maintenance barn, that would be probably used quite a bit by kids who are practicing or training for sports. So I'm not saying that there's a definitive thing, I'm just saying I can see positives for both locations. Know about the parking into the park, though, I don't know that there's a lot of parking for people to come and use it.
how many people would you say that you would use one of these at one time? Like is there an average amount of people that use it or at one
Yeah,
time?
good question. I'm going to jump back to an image, and that kind of goes to the design, how these are set up to be used. And so I'll tell you, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into the design and to laying these out. And the way that there's that these stations are arrayed, this is designed for an individual, one or two users. It's intimate enough, you won't be lost on this vast space. But I guess on the other end of the spectrum, on the other range, that this is designed for class, for groupings. And so we'll see some communities have a couple dozen folks out here in a class setting, so a boot camp class or something like that, either something run by the park department or by a private personal trainer. So there's some support for either of those pieces.
So I don't know how much parking that would require. It would seem like it would, depends on where the groups are.
We only
coming.
have so much parking, and that's always gonna be an issue for anything we put up there. If we put the trail up there, people are gonna have to figure out how to deal with the parking no matter what we put in there.
That's why it would probably be good to keep it away from the high school, because then you got less people on that end using it. You know what I'm saying? You have less of the school kids and they have their own. They have their own, right?
I don't know. I kind of disagree with you. I think as far as being closer to the school, if we have a good location for it, we do have parking, but it might be something that got used while parents might come use it while their kids are practicing football. In that time, instead of sitting in a lawn chair over there watching their kid, they might feel comfortable to
Or parents might use it while the kids are.
walk
playing
over
too.
to use it. I kind of, to me, I feel like the park, while, it's our location, it's a little off one of the downfalls of our park is it's a little bit off the beaten path as far as being able to get to it.
Monrovia is 1 square mile.
I was gonna say
Nothing's
it.
off the beaten path.
Well, there's no
We got
good
people
way.
complaining about people going 3 yards to get to it. It's not accessible.
We're not, we also don't have a bunch of sidewalks to access.
I think either like here or maybe the area that little parcel that's next to the post office, you're not gonna be able to use it for anything else.
I don't
if
think
it's-
that's- I
if
don't
it's
think that's-
76 by 40.
I don't think that's big enough, because that's just gonna be,
Well, the field's only 76 by 40.
Is there a border requirement? Like you gotta have so much space around it?
the 76 by 38 is if you get the second half for like the empty area so you can have yoga classes and things like that, which I don't
What if we're gonna do? We need it all.
think we're ever gonna have
Why not?
yoga classes.
How do you know what it's gonna be?
What is the investment?
Looks like it was
Yeah, let me
What's
just,
the financial arm?
between 150 and 250. We got 180
180 in grants.
in grants, so
So
Well,
250
well,
each one.
she's not had her chance to say her spiel. We may not have anything in grants.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to you guys about our funding really quickly. Have you guys heard of Health First Indiana?
Health First Indiana.
Health First Indiana. So that was in the 2023 legislative session, Senate Bill 4. The legislator voted to add a lot of funding to our local health departments. It was a transformative time for public health. It was right after the little known thing of COVID, where we kind of realized that our local health departments were woefully understaffed and underfunded, right? So we got to add some staff with this funding. And then the really big piece that came with this, it started in 2024, is that we got to start our granting program, which we were super, super excited about. If you guys have been following the 2025 legislative session, our public health funding just got slashed by 75%. So our grant program looks very different this year. We did fund and agree to fund the Hall Civic Center at that $150,000 mark. But because that MOU was never signed, that money just kind of goes back into the pool. We decided to do an RFP process, so the request for proposal process. So that's technically closed right now. And because we lost so much of our funding, that we're going from X amount of funding in 2025 to 75% less in 2026, we are holding back a lot of those funds to make sure that we are able to maintain our staff for the next couple of years. So as we know at the health department, having more places to be physically active and having those open to the public is incredibly important. So I would just have to get back with my scoring team, potentially with my board and my health officer, to ask if we can reopen the RFP process, but happy to talk with them about it, because if someone in Morgan County wants to get this court, we would love to support in any way that we can. That money is not going toward anything else at this time. It would just kind of have to go through that approval process to kind of open and reopen that RFP process. So still very hopeful. We'll just get some approvals, and we're really excited for this court. I think obviously Brian makes a really good case for it as well. It's a really great thing for communities. So yeah, any questions on any of that? It would just be a very easy and simple application, right, Nikki? So she did fill it out for the Hall Civic
The way
Association.
she laughed did not make
Already so much of the supporting evidence for why it's important and all of the background information. She's already done the legwork for that. So I think it would be like a relatively easy application. But just to know that like there is that application process.
Do we have a deadline on this?
No, because technically it's really just money that we have sitting there, and I would just have to kind of get those approvals to unlock it and make sure that our scoring team, and again, like our board and health officer, is okay opening this up, knowing just that our funding has decreased by so much for these next couple of years.
I'm going to assume that they know that you're here having this conversation with us.
They will tomorrow.
Okay.
So it's fine. We're okay to have the conversation. Yeah, they've put all of the trust in our team that we can talk about HFI funds. And then we just kind of provide the updates afterward. But I would like to get the approvals for it just because of that decrease in funding. So,
okay.
But yeah, we can chat all day about it. We love Health First Indiana.
Which is why I'm interested in it, because a good portion of it will be paid by grants. But we do have the cost of updating it, or, updating and maintaining.
What is the cost per application?
Good
Who
question.
does that? Who they do it, or how does that work? Who was under the impression the Fox were president?
Just to elaborate that way. Again, I mean, I'm not sure if that's a conversation to have with Nikki, because she did.
If Nikki could share
Already put
hers
a lot.
with us, and we could utilize some of that, if you would be okay with that, since she said you.
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
We just want to chat.
Yeah. So Brock, what you were saying about the parents using the court while their kids are in practice is really part of the big reason why this whole conversation is taking place, because our county does have some work to do with regard to our health. And so if we had something like this available for the parents and the community in general, then we can start to combat some of the chronic illness rates that we have here in our county, which is why this whole thing is going on. But yes, I would be happy to share what I've written up and happy to support along the way.
So there's a fee to apply, or no fee?
No, I think what Tammy was asking is a fee for, if we had a grant writer writing the grant, right, Tammy?
Yeah, I just wondered if there, like, do we owe, like, if you were coming here to get a permit, will we owe any fees to the health department for applying, or absolutely? So I'm not, no idea how this works.
Yeah, no, you're good. It's free to apply. Anyone can apply.
So how does that also work as far as, I mean, you're coming here to a group presenting it and it needs funding. We don't really have funding. So while we all can sit here and think it's a great idea and we go through the application process and we get some, ultimately it comes down to the town council.
We still would
To
have
do
to take
that,
it to
so-
the town council. I see two of the town councils sitting out there, but I'm gonna,
That's why Mary Ann made sure we were here tonight.
yeah.
That's what I'm wondering, is this a meeting that you go and get just kind of the verbal support of the the park board, where am I at today? The park board, and then you gotta go to the town council and do all this again, I'm assuming?
I think that in Mary Ann and I's discussion, she didn't want to go around you guys. And, she wanted you to be involved in it, so, even though they came to her first, so.
So let's say that we're fast forward, we submit the RFP, we get approval, we get whatever the funding is that we get from the health department. And there are additional funding sources that are out there. And there was are you familiar with GoFundMe?
Mhm.
So there's a GoFundMe type program that is specific to programs like this. So building better communities. And it's a 1-for-1 match, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but dollar-for-dollar match. So, and I had gotten that started also. So we can, I think the last time, I think it was, they'll match up to $50,000. So we could potentially have all of the funding with the three different sources.
And who do you put that out to, the town of Monrovia? Because we only have 2,300 people in this town. How many?
That's just the 1 mile square. But
Yeah.
I'm saying,
We have a lot
that's
of
not
people.
the community, that's the legal boundaries of the town.
Of the
so.
town, yeah.
Anybody can contribute to this. So just like anybody can contribute to a GoFundMe, anybody can contribute to this, unless you're a stakeholder. So like I couldn't, or you guys couldn't, it would have to be outside.
And is it open to anybody in the community or only town, or just town people at the park, if we was able to put it in to use it? I mean, do you have to?
It's open to anybody, just like the park is.
Just like everyone.
Just like the park's open to anybody and everybody. I mean,
So this is a program through the Indiana, it's IHCDA, the Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority. So they dedicate funding for these projects exactly. The project's actually designed for community-based funding, so there are some threshold limits. No single contribution can be more than 10% of the entire project. So the idea is to support communities conducting grassroots funding campaigns. And just as Nikki said, every dollar put through this program will be matched by IHCDA 1-to-1. So it's a very easy way to double community donations, or even funnel some sponsorship through this program to help bring in some additional funding. So pretty. We've seen a number of fitness core programs launched in Indiana using that specific avenue.
Can you clear that up for me? So if we were to get the 150 that the Morgan County Health Department had previously committed to for all, is he saying that this other organization would then give us another 150 up to the cost of the project?
No. So we have, let's say we have 150. We also have 30,000 from the National Fitness Campaign. And then we have an additional whatever. So the extra expenses are installation, which is 35,000, I think, and then the concrete pad, and that's a process that we would bid out. So we said that can be up to like 45,000. So if we have a sponsor or somebody that within the community can fund that, then we have, what's the remaining? My math is not. Yeah. So
I think I heard you saying, describing some of the numbers. If I can run through that very quickly, just to give you a sense of why I described it as a range of funding earlier. So let me jump to one other slide, and I apologize. I know we're throwing a lot of information at you folks tonight, but I'm sharing this screen. I know the numbers are probably pretty tiny, but it's okay. I can run through this pretty quickly and give you a sense of just as Nikki said, essentially the three components that go into a fitness court: the program match, so all the infrastructure, all those pieces for the fitness court, the concrete slab, and then the assembly. So three different components. The program services, the infrastructure, the total funding is $170,000. Right at the bat, there's $30,000 from that national fitness campaign. So that leaves a local match of 100.
I'm gonna restart. We only have an hour on, sorry guys. We only have an hour on Google Meet, so give me just a minute and I'll get started.
Guys, I apologize. I gotta leave. I apologize. But as far as the, Brock's 2 cents worth on it, I think it's interesting. I think it's something that, I mean, if someone in the community is going to get it, I would like to see Monrovia get it over Mooresville or somewhere else, just as far as getting it. As far as where to put it, I don't know. To me, it needs to be out in a visible place that's close, not tucked away behind a few houses. But
Recognize our park, so that might be something to get people to start going to the park.
so, but I do apologize about having to leave, but I did gotta leave. So
Thank you, Rob.
sorry.
So you're saying that the slab and the assembly is separate from the 170,000 that it cost to buy it? Or what are we?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's really more than 170,000. You're gonna add the 35 and the 45, is that right?
It's, and that's why I need to get Brian back on here, because I don't know.
They give you around that 250 mark.
It's gonna be around 250.
Is that for the 38 by 38 or is that for the 76 by 38?
I wouldn't say that's for the small.
The smaller
It
one?
was actually the bigger one.
Is that for the bigger one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know your computer.
I was under the impression that was
included.
Well, that's what I was thinking, the concrete slab. We have to do it separate.
Did you send me the link, Nikki?
It's an additional cost. I hadn't planned. Something we need to consider, the kind, like you said, town council needs to.
It wouldn't be a very weather area. Because, sub-zero, snow and all this, people, not too many people will consider it.
There's some very bright people that know how to ride the weather.
I think they'll use it more in the winter than they will in this weather.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
A little warm out now.
This one's good.
Good to be back with you folks. Sorry about the interruption. I was just running through the numbers, but I think I should note, no one's decided tonight that this project needs to be funded. If any, and no commitments are to be made like that. I think what we're trying to decide is just, is there that leadership support? Is there alignment from the park board in order to pursue National Fitness Campaign funding, health department funding, trying to put some of these pieces together if this is a program that would fit for Monrovia. So I guess that let me pause before I continue describing the numbers. And I'm curious to hear a sense from the board if that seems like a fit, if this is something we should start to pursue and put together.
So I don't know if you can see the numbers or not, but so the fitness court studio is the one that we could propose, which has a workout equipment on one side and then an open space for group classes on the other side. So it's $205,000 for that court, and then minus the $30,000 from the NFC for that grant. So that was at 175 remaining to raise. And then the up to 45,000 for the concrete slab, 36,000 for the assembly. That's a total of 256,000. So 256 minus the 180, we still have 76,000 that we need to come up with, depending on how much the concrete slab costs. And we could, like I was saying, with the GoFundMe, that could, if we were able to raise, what did I say, 76? So if we were able to raise like 35,000, almost 40,000, then that additional GoFundMe would cover the rest of
the IHCDA would pick it up, yeah, they're dollar for dollar, we get 40, yes. Now, if we had, like, you know, if the town were willing to do something and, you know, maybe we were able to find some other source, it doesn't matter where the additional funds come from, but we couldn't, the town couldn't do more than 10% of the additional. Right. Right?
Oh,
In order for that matching
For the
stuff, the
match,
town
yeah.
couldn't do more than 10%. So we'd have to find funding somewhere else to cover the other.
we can't.
So we
use
could
the
only, the
funding.
town could only get 4,000 of the whole.
Mhm.
No possible.
What was that, Tammy?
The town could only give 4,000 of the 40. And any other source that we came up with, even the GoFundMe can only be 4, or those, because they're individual people, it could go all the way up. So, because I heard you say no more than 10% from any independent source. Right. So the most anybody could donate is 4,000.
But that's only for the GoFundMe, right? That's not for the whole project.
Right.
That's to get that matching so that they would
That's so they'll
match.
match it.
Right, so we need to come up with 40 on our own, so we're gonna need 10 $4,000 donors.
There's also other grant opportunities in the community. So we do have foundations who will support community projects, Home Bank, Future Foundation, CFC.
They can only give 4,000, is that correct, or?
That's only, if they're contributing to the GoFundMe. So separate, sponsors, donors, whatever, that can be external. We would just say, through this to the IHGC, we want to use, this campaign to raise this amount of money. And that's canon. And then we can, whatever else we raise outside.
Somebody does give, like, when they give money, they get paid great.
Right.
So, I mean, if they could give us $10,000, and citizens could maybe give us. Yeah.
So if we had to go to the town council, to you guys, and say, we need some money for this, what would be the price on it?
Thanks.
I'm a little confused about that.
So at the next meeting, okay. Before we even talk about that, we need to decide if this is something we want to move forward with.
I would like to go check one out, honestly. It sounds like a lot of money, and I'd like to see
I didn't get a
what,
chance to go to Bloomington, but there's one
what
there.
you get for the $260,000.
I'm open to going on a field trip if anybody wants to go.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to.
I don't know that I can make a scheduled appointment, but I can, I'm definitely traveling a lot. I'm in Bloomington a lot, I'm in Fishers a lot, so I can visit either one of them probably next week, so.
Yeah, I think we should go check one out. Do you know what the oldest one in Indiana is?
I can't answer that question, right?
Okay.
Yeah, let me pull up. I'm gonna jump back to our website and you'll see if you go to, here at the top, this is not in the app or on the website. If you click find a fitness court, you'll see, and I'll just go to, let me zoom out a little bit here. You'll see the deep blue buttons, icons are forthcoming sites. So, Martinsville coming online here in a bit. You'll see Bloomington. Seymour, I believe, is pre-COVID, as is Westfield. That's the one I couldn't remember, the other one in the region. So these are the ones nearest you all. And then most of these in Logan Sport, Wabash, Gas City, Marion launched within the last couple of years. There's one that hasn't been added yet in Monticello. They just completed their fitness court and had their ribbon cutting ceremony earlier this year as well. So you'll see all those sites across the state.
Because I think if we could look at the oldest one and see how it's held up, that would give us.
I believe that's Westfield. I want to say Westfield and not Wabash. It is Mishawaka. Mishawaka, I believe, is 2019, 2018.
So they're all
2018, I want to say. I believe they're the first in Indiana.
Where was the very first one of these? The new model?
That one in San Francisco, so that one on Golden Gate Trail. So that's the, I think it's right, there's one in the slide deck that I showed you, so right here along the Golden Gate Trail, opened 13 years ago.
My daughter has one across from her apartment in Chicago. It's pretty good. There are people out there. I don't know if it's that one, but they know they have pull-up bars and, those kind of stationary outdoor exercise areas. And but they also have tennis courts and pickleball courts in this area too. But I don't know if it's that vertical.
I don't know what motion to make.
To check into it. Check into it further.
A motion to,
To check into it further,
To
we're
check in.
interested, but check into it further and get some definite numbers maybe, and go take a look at one.
so the motion is to do our research.
And discuss at the next meeting.
And so table it till the next meeting.
Our meeting is, we can have a meeting next month so that we can discuss it a little sooner than in 2 months.
Yeah,
So we'll have a meeting in August so we can discuss it. Okay, so the motion is for, to do a little research. You can send us some of the things that we talked about and maybe some of the maintenance schedule that you talked about. A little more definite on a budget, because we were getting some numbers thrown at us, but it wasn't anything that was a little, so maybe a better budget.
So with line items,
Yeah, line items, because what we were hearing was that the installation was gonna cost this, the concrete pad could cost this, the equipment cost this, and I think that was a lot and we can't see your screen. So I think.
I'll share, yeah.
Yeah.
Understood. I'll share this screen right here, this whole slide deck. I'll send your way. And I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but you'll see these are just both renderings, the standalone fitness court on the right and the studio on the left. And you'll see those three components, how they break down, the numbers associated with those. So I can, I guess put together some
we can't-
descriptions if I can, kind of guide you through those.
Yeah, we can't see any of that, so we were like trying to write down when numbers at us, and I don't think any of us really was getting any of it. So if you can share that with us, so that can make a little more sense to us, that would be great. Because I think that's kind of a roadblock for us, since we're not not being able to see that is not very helpful for us.
Some research on the website.
And do some research on the website, and then at our meeting next month, we will determine whether or not we're going to take it to the town council. Does that motion make sense, or should I say it again?
That sounds
We
good.
like the meeting next month.
What?
We don't have a scheduled meeting at all.
Yeah, we said we would schedule a meeting next month, so we wouldn't have to put it off for 2 months.
Okay, do you know what day?
What day's the town council meeting?
The town council is on the 26th. The BZA is on the 18th, and the PC is on the 12th.
What do we usually do? This, the one we're at now is the 29th.
The 19th. We usually do the third, is it usually the third Tuesday?
I think so.
Yeah, we normally do the third Tuesday. Is the 19th available?
I believe so.
So the 19th?
Yeah, 19th will work for me. Well, for you, John?
Yeah.
And then we can bring it to use the town council as the 26th?
Yeah.
And then we can bring it, to the town council on the 26th if
we'll get our ducks in a row so we know what we're recommending.
Put you on the agenda.
Yeah, put us on the agenda.
So I'll second that motion.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries.
Okay, we will.
Well, I sincerely appreciate everybody's time tonight. Thank you for the good questions. Nikki, Tricia, thank you for joining. If I can I send these follow-up documents through Mary Ann? Would that be the best way to get this out to you all on the park board?
Is that okay, Mary Ann? Can he send it to you? Yeah, she said yes, it'll be fine.
Okay, I'll do that. Mary Ann, I'll have that over to you first thing in the morning.
Thank
First thing in the
you.
morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I,
Thank you.
Nikki, you and I can share emails and then that way you and I can communicate.
Okay.
Okay, anything else about that?
I like the idea. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, they
As long as we can get the
can
funding.
email us a detailed list of
Okay.
prices, costs, and everything.
So moving on, our impact fee, actually, what I have on here is wrong. Ricky sent me an update. Our impact fee is at $7,905.
7,000 or 73,000?
79,000,
Oh,
sorry,
79.
$79,005.
Okay.
Since we have picnic tables at the park, we talked about putting new boards on them to make ADA approved picnic tables. We have all that impact fee money. We have limited things that we can use that
Yeah,
impact fee
so we
money on.
definitely can't find a way to fit this in.
We cannot, because we don't have anything like that on the inventory, but we have picnic tables on the inventory, so we can purchase ADA picnic tables.
That's good.
So I would like to make a motion to purchase a couple ADA approved picnic tables instead of reworking our old picnic tables.
I'll second that motion.
All approved?
Aye.
I just wonder if we were to maybe gravel or dirt a trail, then could we say that we have that and we can use the funds? to
Well, so
pay it?
here's what, okay. So that next thing on there, the ADA path to the shelter and playground. So we have an ADA path to the park. Since we have an ADA path to the park, does that extend to
The rest of the park.
to the shelter house and the playground?
Well, and I would say the rest of the park, because people that are handicapped would want to get all the way around it, right?
Well, I don't know if it would extend to a
You
trail
don't
around
think
the
you
park, but an ADA path to give access to the shelter house and the playground. Since we have an ADA path that provides access to the park in our inventory, does that extend
Where was the
to
stipulations on that?
shelter? Do we have to have it in our inventory?
Was there any more definition on
Lehman is gone, so that was who gave us that definition, and that was what he said, it had to be in our inventory.
Is it written?
We got handicap parking
Do you have a
spots.
written contract with them?
If we did it, I don't know if we still do, because Danny was the one that had that. Do you know if there's anything left from Chuck Lehman about the definition to that or anything?
Oh, I mean, the actual, when we got the impact fee accepted, was there a contract with that we can only use it for certain things? Because if it's expired, why couldn't we use it for other things? I guess is my thought.
Our impact,
State statute that guides what you can spend it on, and we have a Zoom meeting on Thursday morning with, not Samantha, our general counsel, but another zoning, that kind of stuff. He does really great with state statutes, so we can run that past him too.
Yeah, if we can get
so
a copy of
the,
this.
yeah, so the question is, so with the impact fee, we can only use it for what we already have inventory on.
Which we have land.
So, well, we can't use it for more land because we don't have enough land. We were 2 acres, 2.5 acres short of being able to use it to purchase any
I
more
remember
land.
that, yeah.
There's a deficit in land. But,
Yeah, Tammy, if you could get a copy of the state statute for the impact fees, that would be ideal.
yeah, because,
That way we'll know exactly maybe how we can get around some of it.
we have a ADA access trail to the park, which is that paved trail to the park. That's on inventory. So if we have a paved ADA trail that takes you to the park, does that mean that we can add a access trail to the shelter house and to the playground? That may be stretching it,
I don't think anything ADA compliance is strict.
but if we could find that out,
It'll be in that statute, right? So we just need a copy of it and we
Yeah.
can figure out what we can.
I know the picnic tables we can get because they are in our inventory. So I know that we can purchase picnic tables to be ADA compliant. We were going to rework 2 of our picnic tables to make them ADA compliant, but that makes more sense to just purchase ADA compliant picnic tables. And we can use the impact fee to do that. But the trails, we can figure that out. The access trail that we have gives access to the park. Can we use that money to put an access trail to the shelter and to the playground?
We'll ask you what it says.
Okay.
And then another question is, if, I know I'm beating a dead horse to death, but is if you already have a playground, why wouldn't you be able to put their playground equipment in there?
Well, that's the other thing too. Because I don't know if that's considered
Okay.
playground equipment, but if that also go, some of that could go towards this too.
Do we have any other kind of fitness stuff in our inventory?
Well, we have the playground
Just the
equipment, is
playground.
fitness
We just
stuff
have
with
to-
the junk.
yeah.
Yeah.
Playground equipment.
I mean, that's a stretch, but it might work.
Yeah.
That would help our cause.
Yeah, so
We have concrete.
Yeah,
we have
you're
a
right, we
concrete
do have
slab underneath our shelter house.
That's right. Another concrete slab. I think the wording in that statute is gonna matter. though.
It is, I
And
think it
maybe
is.
even our attorney's perspective of
Well, I
that
think it
wording.
is too. I think that, like I said, even if we can get a way to get the path, the access trail past to the playground and that would be huge.
That would be huge, yeah.
That would be huge.
And then we might even be able to say we have a path, can we do a bigger path? Maybe.
We can see.
Apple.
Okay. So John went to the park, took some pictures. The maintenance crew is not maintaining around the wetlands, so
But why?
it's really overgrown.
Why are they not?
I'm not sure why they're not.
I didn't walk through the 6-foot tall weeds that were there, but it looked like I could have walked through the 6-foot tall weeds that were there.
Is it wet in that spot? Is it wet?
If you look at the pictures I sent, there is a small pond area there, but then I would say for 60 feet this way and maybe 30 feet that way, I mean, the weeds are just crazy. Somebody needs to go in there with a bush hog. But what has Aquatic Design done? Have they planted any plants? There was a lot of frogs over there
No,
too.
and the last time I talked to them, they said that they were waiting on the plants, so I'll reach out to them.
Yeah, I would say
again.
have them hold off until we figure out
Well, they probably now need to hold off
anything
until
else.
fall anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty wet in there.
But I would
mean,
say
they
somebody
might not want to
needs to-
get their equipment in
A
there.
bush hog and then haul off all the extra dirt that's not needed and then let them go back at it.
Well, that pile of dirt that is there, the reason that it's not been smoothed out or anything that is still there is because it's full of
Right, the steel and rims and tires that were there.
glass and stuff, so it is not usable dirt. It has to be hauled off and gotten rid of.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask Bill Chappell to see if that's something that the community corrections, Randy and the community correction guys can do for us. If not, we're gonna have to go into our budget and get rid of that. Because it's full of, where they used to dump there, so it's full of glass and wire, and I mean, it's just full of all kinds of dangerous stuff.
I
So
can work on something to see what we think it would cost to haul all that off and even bush hog the area and have it ready for them to come back.
Yeah,
I can work on that.
because that's why that dirt, they did everything they could, and then they couldn't do anything with that dirt because it was just too,
Yeah,
it's got too much,
I could probably get JDH to.
there's a dirt pile
supply some
at the
stuff.
park,
Is
and
that
it's,
where the, is that where the burn pile was?
yep,
Yeah.
and it is full of glass and metal and all kinds of stuff that we cannot spread out. So we have to, we're gonna have to figure out a way to get rid of it.
Maybe we can borrow a backhoe from, Ed Everett.
Yeah, I'm gonna,
We'd have to have a dump truck or something.
I'm gonna ask Bill Chappell to see if maybe Randy and the community corrections, if that's something they can do. If not, we're gonna have to figure out something else to do with it, because
Where did that dirt come from? Was it there where about the property?
Yes.
yes, it was where they used to go in, whoever used to go in and dump, and then they burnt all that stuff. And I think they've been doing it for a while, been burning stuff there for a while, and it was just a rubble pile.
It used to be a residence there, so.
But it's,
But no, it's behind in that big 4 acre area, the big
It's-
long path behind the
yeah.
houses. That's where that was from.
it's down there by the wetland area.
Yeah.
And they cleaned up as much as they could, and they spread some stuff out, and that was just dirt that they weren't able to spread out because it's just too, it's got all kinds of.
The house is where the
unsafe
parking
stuff in
lot
it.
is. That's where the house was. It imploded into the ground.
Yeah, I grew up across the street from it, and I think I understand what you're talking about, like if you get to the back of the paved area, right behind the house to the right,
Yes.
they had burn piles.
Yeah, they smoothed as much of it down as they could, and that's just the dirt that's left that's too full of too much junk that they can't smooth out. So we're gonna have to clear it away.
I'm gonna suggest as the council that we get that taken care of. That's a huge liability.
Yeah.
that would not carry. I had no idea. it was
Yeah.
there.
It's
And to
pretty,
have it at our park is. really not okay.
it's pretty bad. Yeah, it needs to be gotten rid of. Thank you.
Yeah, you know, I'm just still on that. That's,
Okay.
I don't want kids hurt and I don't want us to.
And then, because I think that was one of the things that, one of the reasons why they didn't completely, they were smoothing that area for us, and that was one of the reasons why it didn't get completely smoothed out, is because of that dirt in that pile.
I'd just be curious too, why the landscapers aren't mowing
Yeah,
closer to it. You know, did they have a reason? Was it too rough? It needed to be
Kinda wet.
smoother? You know, was it too wet? You know, why aren't they mowing it?
down there in that area, it may be too wet, but I don't know why
They were
they're,
asked to do it, first of all. That wasn't part of their quote, to
Hmm.
maintain that hill and stuff. We thought you guys were like, doing a pond thing there. So that's probably why they're not doing it, because they weren't asked to.
well, aquatic design was supposed to go in and, they were supposed to plant some wetland plants in there for us. And we paid them to do it, and it's not been completed. And every time we talk to them, there's been a reason. The last time they said they were waiting for the plants and they were going to check on the plants, and I haven't talked to them since, so I'll call them. But now it may be too late in the season
Mhm.
for us to plant plants and then survive. I don't know. But I'll contact them and find out what's going on. And see why,
Just a pretty big area of overgrown.
you know, we're
Stuff.
end up back to what it was before we had
Yeah.
anything taken care of. So, yeah, I'll look into that.
And it is kind of dangerous if you don't do anything right away. You might want to put a fence around it so it doesn't fall in there. You know? I was worried about that too when I went over there. I go over there and walk every once in a while, just to check it out, pick up trash.
Just so you guys know, I had a neighbor complain about, didn't really complain, they just said that they loved the park, but they noticed that some of the equipment needed to be attended to, the moving parts weren't moving as well. So I reached out to Bill and asked if he could go over and with his guys and just oil.
What's wrong with it? What was the?
I think it just needs to be oiled up.
Hmm.
Just sat over there and got rusted or whatever, so he just taking his guys over and they were just gonna apply some oil to it and.
Everything seemed to work. I just stopped by there. All the swings worked. The sawhorse, everything.
I think that was what
Moved.
it was moving, so he was gonna go over and
Yeah.
put some oil on it. And I think maybe that's something we probably need to just check on in the spring or something to make sure that we
T40.
keep those moving parts moving.
Mm-hmm.
You could probably ask like another parks department if they do that, like once a year we oil it with whatever. That's probably like a thing. We just don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know, that's
Yeah, to ask
it.
another
Yeah.
Yeah.
parks department.
Do you have contact with your,
Yeah.
can you find out for us?
Yeah.
If they have like maybe they have a maintenance checklist that you could get from them.
I remember one of the guys like at the parks department, he was like a certified playground something safety person,
Uh-huh.
and he probably, that was probably something maybe.
Because they probably do like a mulch check to make sure their groundlet, their mulch.
The mulch is a little low.
Because
We can see the
that's supposed to
fabric over
be-
there.
That's supposed to be so many inches of mulch underneath all that stuff.
Yeah, you can see the fabric in a lot of the spots in the playground area, so it probably needs some mulch.
Probably needs some
All the
mulch.
rain we got
Yeah,
washes it away.
yeah.
Okay. Can I get a motion to order some mulch?
I'll make a motion to order some mulch.
I would second that motion.
All in favor of ordering some mulch?
Aye.
Okay. All right, is there anything else that anybody feels we need to talk about?
I'd make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that one.
I was gonna say, well, I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, guys.